sports fans, this is Robert with WTP Sports Dudes here live for another edition of Talking Sports Sunday. I'm here this morning with my man from the Midwest, post game of the Post Game 86 podcast. How you feeling this morning, my brother?
Man, feeling real good, ready to talk some good sports, and we got that draft coming up today.
Yes, we do. We got our fantasy draft coming up today. And listen, this is my first time, so I know they're going to take full advantage of me and they're going to make me look like I'm a clown out there in year one. But listen, I might have a surprise up my sleeve because I've done a little bit of research and I might be okay. I might be okay.
I like
As
the
you,
confidence.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. As you all know, Luka Doncic, I think that's how you say his name, signed a huge deal yesterday. Who's the biggest winner in this Luka signing of an extension? The Lakers or Luka, or maybe even both? What's your thoughts on that?
Oh man, the biggest winner. I would like to say that both sides won. The Los Angeles Lakers and Luca won this deal. Luca got paid. He didn't get the super max because of the Dallas situation, but he got the max. This is a great deal for the Lakers organization, who's looking for that big piece post LeBron James, and I think this is the direction the Lakers wanted to go, and they'll continue to build around Luca once LeBron leaves, and they got the future face of the franchise. So I would say it's a win for both sides, Rob.
Both sides, both sides. I agree with you. I think it's a win for both sides. Um, of course, we as a saying, the Lakers. Good morning, my dude. We feel you. We appreciate you. Your son is on here doing his thing as usual. Thank you for tuning in and supporting us as you always do.
Good
Yeah,
morning, Pop.
I think it's both as well, man. Whenever you can sign a player of Luca's magnitude to keep him in your organization, one of the greatest organizations in the history of sports, period. You know what I'm saying? The Lakers has always been on the map for as long as I can remember. And you want to always have a face of your franchise like a Luka Doncic, like you've had with Kobe Bryant, like you had with Magic and Kareem, and some of those guys. So I think that the Lakers are in a good spot signing Luka, who is one of the best players in the NBA. I hope that once this extension is done, they're able to give him a max deal and keep him in the organization for the remainder of his career. So I definitely think it's a win for both. But I'm glad that he got that deal done so that he can at least be there for the next 3 years. What's the news on Gilbert Arenas and this poker allegations? I don't know a whole lot about it. I don't know if you have been up on it. But what's going on with that? Why does he need to be playing poker at high stakes poker at that? What's your thoughts on that?
Uh, I haven't really had a chance to look into that situation, but from what I hear, he was arrested and he bonded out of jail or whatever. But I have absolutely no clue why somebody who makes as much money as he does will involve himself in something like that. Uh, Poker allegations, that's crazy work. I don't understand. Again, I haven't had a chance to dig into that situation, but that's really, I think silly for him to be involved with something like that when he got so much going on in his life post basketball career. His podcast is doing well. You see him on different platforms, so his money is should be right. So there's no need to get involved in situations like this, especially at his age.
Yeah, I don't know a whole lot about it other than he got arrested for some allegations about some high stakes poker. But for me, I'm thinking to myself, dude, they got a whole poker tournament where guys are winning millions of dollars. If you don't want to go get involved in that and win millions of dollars, then teach some, get a protege that you can sponsor and put him on there where it's legal to do it there. You know what I'm saying? Don't put yourself in that kind of a situation, especially when we already know when you're doing something behind the scenes and is dealing with that kind of money. For one, guys are probably going to come with bodyguards who are probably going to be strapped. If something goes wrong in there, now you got one fashion against another fashion, and it's anything can happen, man. When money is involved at that magnitude or the possible magnitude that it could be, anything can happen, man. And I just think it's not real bright. I'm quite sure he's vetted whoever comes. It's probably people that he know that he's close with. And I've always been a huge believer in if I'm going to gamble, I'm not going to gamble with my friends because I don't want their money in my pocket. You know what I'm saying? I don't want my buddies. I don't want to take hundreds of thousands or even $2 or $3 from my buddy. You know what I'm saying? I want him to keep his money just like I want to keep my money. I just never was a big fan of that. So I mean, I don't know, man. I hope that whatever has to happen, he can get back on the right track and leave that kind of thing alone because gambling, man, is can become a disease, man, to where you can lose a lot because you just can't get over that gambling hump. And I know we've already read stories about so many athletes who have had gambling addiction, who have lost everything, man, their families, their homes, their money. And I just don't want to see that for him. He seems like a really, really cool dude. I really like watching his clips of his podcast. So I hope he can continue in that role since he's no longer a basketball player. But as far as the poker thing goes, man, sponsor somebody that's playing in those poker tournaments that you see on ESPN, man. You don't have to go and do no uh, behind the scenes in your garage, in your basement kind of stuff, man. We don't. Well, that's not even cool.
Yeah, it's really unnecessary in this day and age, for real.
Yes, sorry, for sure, for sure. What's your thoughts on Trailblazers guard Damian Lillard becoming the GM of his alma mater, Weber State? Weber State. Is it Weber State or Weber State?
Weber.
Weber.
Think it's a good look. As long as he's still in the NBA. I know he's recovering from injury, but as long as he's able to balance, his workload out and be able to give his attention to the program, I think it's a good deal. And I don't think, if I'm not mistaken, there's a few NBA players who have become GMs of colleges. I believe wasn't it Steph Curry? I believe it was Shaq, if I'm not mistaken. So you're starting to see a lot of these basketball players become GMs of college basketball teams, and I think it's a great look for their program. The attention, the savvy that they bring to those programs could only add to them. So I think it's a good move for Damian Lillard, and maybe he's setting up for that post NBA career. So excellent in my eyes.
Yeah, that's the thing that I like. You mentioned their post career, man. And the thing I like about a lot of these guys that we're starting to see in terms of black athletes, well, even white athletes as well, they're finding something to do after their sports career is over. I think it's always important for them to continue on the journey of being a professional outside of whatever professional sport they play because they still have a huge influence, they still have a huge voice, they still have a huge interest in what it is that they're doing. So they can open some doors for some other folks. Excuse me, some other folks, and I like seeing guys continue to do things like that. I think it's a really, really good move for him because there is always life after sports. Let's turn it over to the WNBA. Are fans getting out of hand after a sex toy is thrown on the court at a WNBA game?
Bruh, that's wild. That's wild. Unbelievable. That's that's absolutely out of hand and uncalled for. Um, I don't even know how they got into the arena with those things. Uh, Definitely shouldn't be allowed in the first place. But yeah, them throwing those things on the court, I think was disrespectful. It was classless. I would if I found out who threw those things on the court, I wouldn't allow them back in the arena. I would ban them. So just a bad look on the fan side. That's unnecessary. You know, plenty of us get upset at our teams, at calls, the way the game is going. But you got to be able to control yourself, especially as an adult. That's uncalled for. Just classless, man, and it has no place in the game. So
I agree with you, man. I just don't understand how people's minds work sometimes to where it's almost like people don't even think anything is too over the top. It's like whatever I want to do, I'm gonna do it. I don't care. You get arrested. This person, whoever did it, they got arrested. Quite sure they're probably gonna get some kind of punishment for it. But when you think about it, was it worth it? You know what I'm saying? It wasn't even worth it. You disrespect yourself. You disrespected the WNBA players, everybody in the arena doing something like that. And it's like, why can't you go just watch a game, enjoy the game for what it is? Why do you got to go in there with a mindset? I'm going to throw something on the field. Are you protesting something? Are you trying to prove a point? Why would you even go and do something like that? And could you have found a better way if you are protesting something? Can you find a better way to do that? I think it was classless, and it was definitely disrespectful. And whatever happens to that individual for doing that, I mean, maybe you got to set an example for that person and say, listen, you can never return to another WNBA arena. Uh, Give them a nice little fine, something, so that they know that this is unacceptable. Do you like the Connecticut Suns move to Boston? And what's your thoughts on the $325 million selling of the team? I think the majority owner ended up buying maybe more stakes in the team or something. I'm not 100% sure on that. But what's your thoughts on that?
I love it. Absolutely love it. Going from a state like Connecticut to Massachusetts to Boston, who fans are nuts from what I hear. That's an excellent move for the W. I think it'll be a bigger market. That's more of a basketball city. I don't think they have any football in Boston, if I'm not mistaken, especially not the NFL, of course. But this is a great move for the W. Just the city. The fans, that fan base is wild. They'll really enjoy having a women's team. Bigger market. So it's a win. I think the players would probably say they would rather play in Boston than Connecticut. So it's a win for the WNBA, for the franchise, and for the players.
Yeah, I think it's a really good move too. I mean, you're going to a better market. I think that Boston market, it's a market where they love basketball already. Um, they got the Boston Celtics there. I think they will get a lot more support. And I think in the previous show, we talked about these teams getting in better markets, man, where they could up their money intake. And I think moving to Boston is definitely a good move. And it also makes you wonder why wasn't there already a team in Boston, you know, because that's a really good market. So I like the move. I like the fact that that price tag is 325 million, which means there's some value there for that team. I remember before the NBA started selling for billions of dollars. I remember when the Bulls were only worth maybe $34 million right when Jordan got there. And now you can sell the Bulls for billions of dollars because of what the market has become, because of what TV deals are bringing in, and all of this money that's out there. It's good to see that the WNBA can have a price tag of 325 million on it, which I think is good for the women's game, and I'm happy for that. Let's go Boston Suns. I wonder if they're gonna keep that same last name. Can you see international players growing in the WNBA to the point it is in the NBA?
Absolutely, absolutely, Rob. Just think, man. Uh, two of the two of the top five picks in this past WNBA's draft were foreigners. Um, and if I'm not mistaken, I don't believe we saw that in previous years. But two of the top five picks were foreigners. You got the guard from, I believe, I don't even know where she's from, but she's definitely from overseas. Golden State took her with the fifth pick, and then you got the woman that's Duncan that the Seattle Storm took. So, and they're developing her. So uh that when I seen that, I said, okay, they're definitely, the W is trying to tap into that foreign market, just like the NBA has done for years, for many years. So that's definitely up their sleeve and in their bag. They're trying to tap into that market and grow the WNBA, make it global, just like the NBA has become. So, yes, international players in the next few years, you're definitely going to see an influx of that, as well as, and you parlay that with the talented college women that are coming into the WNBA in the next few years. So they got some monsters on the way, Rob. So I'm excited for their future, as well as their contracts that they're getting, and when they negotiate that new deal, hopefully the game will be in a better place financially for the players. So international players are definitely on the rise.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I think the game has gone so global that how could it not? You know what I'm saying? The game of basketball has grown so much, and I think that players have always played in other countries, but now it's like it's such a fun game to play. And you're starting to see. We was having this debate at our reunion yesterday, our neighborhood reunion that we have every year. Are the skill of the players today better than it was back, uh, you know, 20, 30, 40 years ago? And the way you see guys handling the ball, able to get to the cup the way they do, the moves that they do, how fluid they move, I think that's an attribute to the international game and how it was played, and us going overseas playing in those tournaments and Olympics and things like that, because you have to change your game because of the rule changes that are there. And I think when you look at these players in the WNBA coming from other countries, I think that's it's only can be a plus for the game in the WNBA. So I applaud it. I'm glad that it's moving in that direction, and I think that those players from other countries can can help out the WNBA a lot. Much like before there was a WNBA, most of the players from America had to go overseas to play ball, and they they went to play, but they didn't necessarily. It was like they were by themselves. So I know these international players are probably dealing with some of the same situation. The difference probably is in America you got a a whole lot of people from other countries. So you'll find somebody from your country in any city or state that you go to here in the United States. So they'll always have somebody that they can be around, but that's not always the case when American players go overseas. So I'm glad to see that happening. That's happening. Should somebody be interested in signing Odell Beckham? I know he's in the news about wearing the most expensive cleats ever in a game. Um, should should anybody have any interest in signing him? Does he still have value? What's your thoughts on him?
Does he still have value? It may be from a an attraction standpoint, maybe, but on the field, I think he should hang those cleats up. It's over with. Um, Odell Beckham had one of the nastiest catches I've ever seen in my life with the one hander down the sideline for the touchdown. That was just ill. Uh, but as far as you know, him playing right now, I believe his skills are diminished. He's dealt with a plethora of injuries throughout his career. And, it's okay, man. You made a lot of money. You should just chill. So I highly doubt he gets signed before the season starts. So, Odell Beckham, he's still popular. There's many things he can do post career. And, I would like to see him broadcasting, podcasting, whatever the case may be. But as far as playing in the NFL, I think those days have passed. What's up, Moss?
Yeah, what's happening, Mossberg? I agree with you. I think he should go ahead and because, like you said, there's so many things after sports now that you could do. You don't have to open a restaurant anymore. You know what I'm saying? A lot of athletes would open up restaurants, and we know how volatile the food business can be. You don't have to do that. You can podcast because you're popular, and you'll mess around and have 1 million subscribers in a week because you're Odell Beckham. Or you can take your skill level, your knowledge, and go help somebody coach wide receivers. Eventually become an offensive coordinator, and then eventually become a head coach. Uh, this, and you can go get in the booth because you know what you're talking about. And I think you can add value to any one of those shows that's out there that's talking sports. It's just so much that these guys could do now, man, after sports. And I think it's a beautiful thing because now they don't have to go and crawl into a hole, man, and be miserable during their life after sports, man. And I think that things are set up now where you don't have to do that anymore. You don't have to keep living in the past of what you did during your professional career because you can continue it coaching, podcasting, being a broadcaster, um, doing all kinds of things nowadays, man. So hopefully, he'll go that route and find him another niche in the sports world, so that he doesn't have to continue to try to play this football game. Because I agree with you. I think his skills have diminished. He need to go ahead and move on to something else, and hopefully he does, because he has a good brand, I believe. Even though he's had some situations where he was kind of quirky, but I think he's still a marketable guy. Are the Dallas Cowboys going to do right by Micah Parsons?
Man, that is man. Rob. I don't get these contract situations in the NFL. They know years in advance that contract is coming up. They know what type of impact these players have on the field. Just sign them. Just get it out the way. The earlier you sign these players to a new deal, the cheaper they're going to be. You gonna wait until the last year of their contract and sign them. It's gonna be even more expensive. I don't understand what the Cowboys are doing with their players, especially a player like Micah Parsons, who's one of the best pass rushers in the NFL and can really change a game for you. So, are they going to do right by Micah? Well, he just asked for a trade, so they better. Jerry Jones came out and said and told his fan base, don't lose any sleep on this. Okay, then what you waiting on? Get that man signed, get him his money, and go try to win a Super Bowl. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. You cannot wait until all these teams start signing their premier pass rushers and this daggone market go up. Now, what you gonna do? You think he ain't gonna say, "I want Miles Garrett money"? You know what I'm saying? He gonna be like, "Nah, man, Miles Garrett is getting this." You know what I'm saying? He wanted to be traded. Here I am at the Dallas Cowboys, America's team. You know what I'm saying? Fan bases is all over the country, one of the largest fan bases in the world. You better get this man his money, because at the end of the day, if you don't, and you might be able to franchise tag him a time or two, eventually somebody else is going to get him, and they're going to get him, and because he's not like he's an old dude. You know, he has had some injury issues, but man, he's worth the money. So go ahead and pay this guy. If you're telling your fan base, don't lose any sleep over it, get him signed so they don't lose any sleep over it. I think he should definitely be signed and be one of those players that um, is one of the highest paid pass rushers in the game, because he wreaks havoc, man. He requires doubles. Sometimes, you got to have a back that's going to get him too after he get done. So pay that man. Mossberg is saying, uh, getting paid properly. Don't be like your Bengals, huh? And not sign Hendrickson. He said, don't do what the Bengals did. Go do what the Browns did. I feel you on that.
Yeah, most definitely, man. He got to get paid properly. I don't think they really have a choice.
Yeah, I don't think they have a choice either. I don't think they have a choice either. Yeah, sign him as soon as possible. I don't know if you've been following the Shannon Sharp news, man. Him and these women and these lawsuits and all of this stuff, man. I don't understand it, man. It's kind of like it goes over my head, because, as a 56-year-old man, I mean, he's not 56, but still, he's close. I don't, I don't understand it, man. So, what's your thoughts on Shannon Sharp and all these issues, man? Is his mind screwed up? What's wrong with the dude?
Man, your guess is good as mine. I would think that maybe the money, the fortune and fame got to his head, that's a lot of success on his part and a lot of money, and we all know what comes with those things. So and sadly, those things could go to our heads. Just think, man. Think how many women FanDuel Zay and Mossberg gonna have when we blow. I'm, I'm just kidding, fellas. But yeah, it's got to be something that got to his head, and he probably couldn't really handle it. And these are the results, man. You gotta when success finds you like that, you definitely gotta have a humble mindset. And I think the best thing for any man is to find a woman and marry them and settle down. So you clear up so much confusion and temptations and things like that when you take that route. So again, man, I just think the fame and the money got to his head, and these are the results.
Yeah, y'all heard it from post game first right here on Talking Sports Sunday. Find you a good woman and settle down on a good choice. It will save you a bunch of headache. And guess what else gonna save you? A bunch of money. Because this dude is coming out the pocket because now you gotta pay these folks off. And it's like, dude, you know how many traps have already been set before you? Know how many other athletes have bumped their head before you? You got to learn from their mistakes. You think you're invincible? It's like a drug dealer who thinks that eventually you're not going to get caught. Like you done added something new to the game to where now all of a sudden you so cold with it, you ain't going to get caught. Come on, man. What goes around comes around. If you continue to do the same things that somebody else did and they got caught, best believe you're gonna get caught in that same trap. And Shannon Sharp, you just got to be smarter than that. Your brother is a really good example, a really good example of how just having a good, nice, wholesome home life could be. You can sit back, you can stack your chips, you can make sure that your family is good, you can build estates and all kinds of stuff and take care of your family for the rest of their lives. But instead, you're going out there creating generational wealth for somebody else in their family, which is okay if you want to build generational wealth for somebody else. It's just how you go about doing it. And that's not the way to go about generating generational wealth for somebody else by being out there like that, man. And I think it's really just not a good look for a guy who went from his NFL career, had issues at a network, then you recreate yourself with your show, which is one of the man. I love his show and what he does with the people that he bring on this show. Being able to get the information that we get out of those former athletes or actors or comedians, being able to have insight into their lives, man. I love all that because one of my biggest things is I love hearing people's stories, man. And to be able to watch his show and get to hear some of those stories, man, is really, I like it. It helps me to navigate life. So he was already doing good. You don't want to keep bumping your head though. So Shannon Sharp, if you ever come across this video, which you never know, you might go ahead and take a page out of your brother's book, man. Settle down on a good choice. Follow my man post games advice. Settle down on a good choice. Wipe them up, man. And whatever your aspirations are with a woman, do it with your wife. Can you give us any updates on your Notre Dame Fighting Irish during fall camp? How many practices have y'all had? Two?
I believe three or four.
Okay.
3 or 4. Yep. Well, uh, secondary is looking really elite. They've got a good problem to have in that secondary, which is that they have a lot of depth. They have a lot of pieces. Outside of Adon Schuler, we don't know who's going to start at the other safety position. You know, you got Luke Talik, you got Jalen Stroman, the transfer from Vatek, who a lot of people think would have been a second or third round pick had he went to the NFL draft, but he decided to transfer to Notre Dame. That position is up for grabs, but like I said, the secondary just looks amazing, Rob. You know, the two starting corners, the safeties, really fast, athletic, smart players. That defensive backfield is going to be an issue for whoever we play. Uh, the quarterback battle is ongoing. I've told y'all all summer, and I continue to say this is a real battle. Believe me, trust me. This is a real battle. This isn't okay. It's a battle, but we know who's going to win. Nah, it's none of that. This is this is a real battle. Kenny Minchie versus CJ Carr. They both look good. Minchie's been running with the ones. Cars look good. So they both made some mistakes, but you know that's to be expected when you practicing against a defense like that. Uh, some players are catching the coach's eyes, and Malachi Fields, the wide receiver transfer from Virginia, looks like the real deal. So I'm excited that we're finally going to have a big time wide receiver one who can make plays down the field, intermediate, close to the line of scrimmage, you name it. This guy's the real deal. No major injuries, and we rolling. So I like what I hear out of camp for the Irish, and you know, I'm looking forward to them naming a starter in the coming days.
Yeah. To stay with your Notre Dame Fighting Irish, are there any games on your schedule that you circled that you feel like if we don't play at our highest level or close to it, they could possibly give us some matchup issues?
Man, really, Rob. I think you can say that about every game, but in particular, I would say the Boise State game. I would say Arkansas feels like a trap game. You know, going down there early game in that heat with a running quarterback like Arkansas has. I know we're more talented than Arkansas, but you know, games like that can be trap games if you're not prepared mentally to go down there and take care of business, or if you let your foot off the gas pedal at any moment. You gotta teams you're supposed to beat. You gotta go in there, hit them in the mouth, pin them to the ground, and let them know this is what it is. You can't go in there playing with your food when you talk about inferior opponents. I would the Texas A&M game would worry me if we weren't coming off a bye. Marcus Freeman is pretty good coming off buys, getting his team prepared to face the challenge. So I would say Boise worries me. Uh, Maybe Arkansas, just you know, traveling down south in that heat. Noon game, I believe it is. So I'm not really worried. I said it on here before. I'll say it again. I believe Notre Dame's going to go to Miami and crush them. Texas A&M has to come to South Bend with Notre Dame coming off a bye. So it's the bigger ranked teams, and of course you got USC down the line, which is always a great matchup. But the tougher teams really don't worry me. It's the teams like Arkansas and Boise State that I hope we're prepared to play and don't have a big letdown like we have in years past.
Okay, okay. So I don't know if you caught or you read. I guess the collective or the commission is has lightened up its stance on the collective and them give and then paying players for this so-called pay for play or whatnot. So they've lightened up a little bit on it, and so the collectives are still out there being able to raise money for players, which really looks like pay for play. Probably is pay for play, but I guess they've lightened up their stance to the point where they're allowing some of these things to happen. Do you think that at some point they're going to have to do away with collectives?
They probably will want to, but I don't. I think you've opened up Pandora's box, man. It's it's here to stay. I mean, unless the federal government gets involved and regulates some things, I don't think you'll see much change as far as that situation goes and that pay for play. They've already, man, it's you can't rein this in. It's like, how you take the whole package of cookies out the paper and try to put it back in. It's too late. You already opened it up. So I don't think, at least for the next few years, nothing will be done about it. They will have to, go above and above to the federal level if they want to change situations like that.
Yeah, I agree. Because when you think about it, a college athlete who plays football, basketball, whatever their sport is, and you're doing school at the same time, how much time do they have to give uh, a business or a collective who has said, "Hey, this guy is doing X, Y, and Z for us. That's why he's getting paid this NIL value." Really, how much can a college athlete really do for a collective? You know what I'm saying? They don't have the time. They don't have the time, man. Those guys got school, then they got practice, then they got games, they got meetings, they got all of this stuff that they have to do. They don't have a whole lot of time to be able to really meet the need that a NIL endorsed collective would need them to do. So I I don't think it's going anywhere. It's just going to be the way things go. Like, of course, like unless the federal government gets involved and they put some parameters in there that allows, or they make it to where, okay, if you are going to do this and you can only get in this amount of time, they can be giving you no astronomical amount of money for this little bit of time that you're giving them. It's just not. It just don't make any sense. It's not fair. And you got some schools out there that their collectives are huge, and it's not balance. It's not a fair balance when you got schools that got plenty of money and collectives, and you got others who don't have as much. So I think if they want the game to be as fair as possible, then they're gonna have to find some way to fix it, to rein it in. But I knew that the collective wasn't gonna have. I mean, I knew the commission wasn't gonna have as much teeth as they sort of claimed they was going to be able to have. And we knew that those coaches was going to throw contracts and stuff out there to test the waters to see what the collective the commission um, would bite on, what would they accept and not accept. So I think at some point, it's all trial and error right now anyway. So eventually, I think they'll get it to a good working product. But right now, it's going to be what it's going to be. Yeah. Anything else you want to talk about college football wise before we get ready to wrap up the show? Or if anybody out there in the chat, if you got any questions you want us to entertain, we'll be willing to do that as well. Um, but you got anything else you want to talk about as far as college, well, any sport really? But the main topic we're talking now is college football. But we can talk about any other topic you would like to, sports
Yeah,
related.
man. You asked me, so I asked you, how are things going in Texas?
Uh, um, they're really going really well in Texas. Um, some of the questions that I had going into fall camp are starting to be answered, especially with the offensive and defensive line. There's a really good battle going on at right tackle between Brandon Baker and Andre Kojo. Andre Kojo is a guy who has been in the Texas, uh, been at Texas for this is fourth year, but he's a guy who had to transform his body. He came in just a big kid, but now they got his body transformed, and he's battling as a senior, really in school, with a guy who was a redshirt sophomore in Brandon Baker. But Brandon Baker is so talented that he's fighting off Andre Kojo right now, and we had some issues at right guard because of some hydration issues, some uh, DJ Campbell just he wasn't hydrated well enough, so he had to sit out of practice, which really helped in the sense that now we know what Texas is going to do in the offensive line. If one of those guards go out, they're going to move Cole Hudson, who is the starting center, to either other guard positions, and then they're going to bring um, Connor Robertson in as the center. So we got that ironed out, so we know which direction they're gonna go in. And I guess when these kind of things happen in fall camp early, you get a better picture of what Texas is going to do as far as that offensive line is concerned. And so we know that's what's going to be the situation with that when it comes to those three inside positions, which is cool because Cole Hudson has a lot of experience playing right tackle, left tackle, and some at center as well. So we're probably going to be good there with a guy who has played a lot of football. But of course, the left tackle position that's sold up by Trevor Gooseby, is really talented. We got to see him a lot last year, filling in at left tackle and right tackle when Kelvin Banks was out, and when Cam Williams was out. So I feel good about the offensive line. All we need now is for them just to continue to work in jail so that they know what they're doing when the center calls, whatever the protection is, or whenever the quarterback changes the protection, they're all on the same page. So I think as far as bodies are concerned, we're really good two deep, and in some positions even three deep on our offensive line. So I'm good there. So as far as the defensive tackles are concerned, Murad Watson is going to be a dude. He is going to freaking be a dude. And we get the opportunity to have this guy for 2 years on that defensive line, where if you remember, every year Texas had to replace their defensive tackles, man, their main guys. But next year we're going to have a nucleus of guys who are still going to be there for 2 years or more. So I like the way they're looking. Cole Bavard is doing really good. Travis Shaw and Levon Johnson, the two transfers, they are not healthy yet. So we don't really know. We know they can be good because they played football. They've already um, Levon Johnson came from Maryland, so he's already played in the Big Ten. So we know what he can do, but we haven't been able to see how he gels with what we're doing. And then, of course, Travis Shaw came from North Carolina. We know he could be a monster too, but that knee injury, he's just not been able to get out there. So we're waiting to see what those two are going to do. But the only guy who's been in our system for over a year is Alex January. He's playing really well. So I think we're going to be good there um, with those guys. Some of them are only zero techniques. They're only nose guards. So we're going to have a lot of movement in there. Nobody is going to really have to play more than 30 plays a game. They're going to all probably be functioning on a 25 to 30 play count, which would be great because you're going to keep your defensive tackles fresh. I'm excited to hear that Colton Bosick is finally healthy, man. If he can stay healthy all season, If Texas put you in passing situations, which is their goal, to stop the run and to put you in passing situations, teams are going to catch hell because when you got Colton Bosick, Colin Simmons, and then they come with their NASCAR package when they bring in some of the not huge defensive lineman guys, but guys who can pass rush on a pass rush down. We got you in 3rd and 7 or more. It could be trouble, man. And then they got good guys who can cover. They want to play more and more man-to-man coverage. We also found out that if Kobe Black can actually solidify himself as the other corner opposite of Malik Muhammad, we're going to probably move Jalen Gilbo back to the star position. Even though Jalen Gilbo wants to play corner because it suits his size and skill set a little bit better. Um, well, to get our best 5 defensive backs on the field, that's probably going to be the case. If Kobe Black can actually lock that thing down, he's a longer guy. Uh, he's more of a man-to-man coverage kind of guy, which is what Texas wants to do this year. They want to play a little bit more man-to-man coverage, and that way be sticky on the receiver so that they can give enough time for those defensive guys to get to that quarterback. So that's looking good. They've decided that they're going to move Spence from linebacker to edge rusher full time, and they're moving Trey Moore from edge rusher, defensive end, to linebacker full time. So they've made that decision, which I think is best for both of them because Spence's skill set is more of a pass rusher than it is a linebacker, and Trey Moore's skill set is more of a outside linebacker than it is edge rusher, just based on their build and their skill set and what they're able to do. So otherwise, those dudes wouldn't really get a whole lot of playing time because we got edge rushers that are better than Trey Moore at the edge, and we got better linebackers than what Spence is. So it's a win-win for both of those guys to be able to play in those skill sets. And
That sounds like a lot of speed and athleticism. Let me
yeah,
ask you: are you how you feeling about game one? Are you still confident? Well, how you feel? How you feeling?
I'm extremely confident about game one, and I'm not taking anything away from the Ohio State Buckeyes because I know that they're going to be really good. What I feel like our advantage is the fact that we have a quarterback that has a different kind of a skill set. Who in the first practice he was just okay, but then he was able to fix some things, especially in the immediate throws that we needed him to really hone in on. And in the second practice, he was spot on. And DeAndre Moore uh, has really been the man at the wide receiver position. So I'm extremely confident because in the areas where I knew Ohio State would probably have some sort of advantage, it's not in an area where it's the main position. So like I think at the quarterback position we have the advantage there, even though both of our offensive lines are a work in progress. I think defensively, our defensive line is better than their defensive line, which means we can take advantage of their offensive line more so than their defensive line can take advantage of our offensive line. Now, of course, they still got Smitty from old Block 4, who we're going to have to worry about. But we all know that Texas is not going to play no man-to-man coverage on him. They're gonna have a man over the top all day. The thing with them is they got to be ready to tackle if they decide to throw him quick passes just to get him in a rhythm. So hopefully we're ready to do some tackling. Uh, but I feel extremely confident that we can go into the shoe and win this game against Ohio State. I mean, when I say I'm extremely confident, I'm extremely confident. As long as we don't suffer any injuries in fall camp, we're going to be good. Um, I hope that I know CJ Baxter is probably not going to play in that first game, but the fact that he's getting first team reps means that he's a guy that we're eventually going to be able to work in at some point in the season. And the back half of the season, he's going to be the difference for us. If we can get him confident in that knee, I think we're going to be all right. But the first game, I'm kind of worried about the running back position, though, because we can't expect for, even though Trey Wisner has gained 10 pounds of muscle, we still need somebody to spell him. And I don't know if Christian Clark and Jared Gibson are going to be ready to do that. But one or both of those guys are going to have to be able to come in there and give us um, 15 to 20 touches between the two of them uh, during any given game.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure. Anything else you want to discuss about college football,
I think
basketball?
Moss had a question.
Who's your early Heisman vote? Who's your Heisman vote? That's way too early. Man, that's a good question. I mean, I if anybody thinks for 1 second that Steve Sarkisian is not going to try to get Arch Manning the Heisman Trophy, bro, they sadly mistaken. Steve Sarkisian has every intention, even though he ain't gonna come out and say it. He has every intention on getting Arch Manning the Heisman Trophy.
100%.
Every intention.
100%. And you got to think, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, none of the Mannings ever won the Heisman.
Nope, none of them ever won the Heisman.
So you get him in the Heisman race and this close, they're going to give it to Arch for sure.
I can see that. I can definitely see that. I, the guy is. I mean, if he gets there, he's so freaking likable, man. How do you not vote for him? He's so freaking likable. So, I gotta say Arch Manning, and I'm not even being a homer when I say that. Now, there's some running backs out there that I think are really really good. It's just not, if a quarterback is out there balling, it's hard to give it to a running back or anybody else.
Yeah, if a quarterback is putting up numbers, you can cancel Christmas. That's
Yeah,
just how it is in college football.
yeah. So mine would be Arch Manning.
Oh, my bad. Uh, early, I'm not 100% confident that Jeremiah Love can win the Heisman due to volume, but I think he'll make enough plays. Like, I don't think he'll get 25, 30 carries a game, but what he if he's efficient, he catches a screen, takes it to the house a few times, one touch off the tackle, up up the middle, or hissed outside for 80, 90 yards, like he did against the Hoosiers, excuse me. I think he could make enough plays to have his name in the Heisman race, because he won't get it based off volume. This is not a guy where they're going to hand the ball to him 25, 30 times a game, have target him 5 to 10 times a game. No, that's not the type of program Notre Dame is, and they got way too much depth for that.
Mhm.
But I could see a situation where he makes the most of his opportunities, and if he just breaks way too many runs and too many passing plays where his touchdowns and yards are ridiculous just based off efficiency, I think Love can be a early Heisman candidate. But I'm with Rob. I think the advantage goes to the quarterbacks. It's going to be really difficult for another position to win the Heisman.
Yeah, I agree with you. You made a really, really good point, man, because if Love can make those splash plays, I mean, that's really how Reggie Bush won the Heisman when he won it. It was splash plays, man. I mean, his stats was nice, but his splash plays was like, oh, dude, did you see what he did today? Did you see what he did today? He caught a screen and went the distance. You see that spin move? It was basically on splash plays. It wasn't necessarily because of his stats. And I think Jeremiah Love could definitely be one of those people who has so many splash, because like you said, he can catch a screen and he 80. He can get a seam up the middle 90. It can, and enough of those. And you like, dude, this guy is definitely the best player in college football. Usually they can't get nothing on him. So I definitely can see that happen. Definitely can see that happen. And Mossberg is saying it's been a long time since really seeing this type of hype and so much more surrounding a player like Arch. I agree with you. The thing that I like about the fact that he's getting this hype is that he don't let it go to his head. At least that's the way it appears right now. He takes coaching really well. Um, I just hope that the mistakes that he made last year in games that he did play in, and he corrected it in the next game. He got kind of happy with the long ball, and I think after that game, Steve Sarkisian and Milwee had a conversation with him and said, "Listen, you can't get enamored with this long ball, buddy. You gotta be able to set the long ball. You can't just think you're gonna be tossing long balls all day." And then in that next game, you was able to see the other parts of his skill set, throwing short and intermediate routes. The thing I really like about Arch over Quinn is the fact that Arch is going to put some mustard on the ball. Quinn was more of those timing, float the ball out there, which allowed defensive backs sometimes to come and get their hands on balls. And you saw in the Georgia game where had he put zip on the ball, those Georgia defensive backs wouldn't have been able to get their hands on so many of them. I think he might have threw in those two games that they played. He might have threw maybe 4 picks in those two games. But when you go back and look at the picks, it's because the ball placement was good. It was just the fact that the velocity was bad. It gave the defensive back time to get their hand in there. And when you got physical defensive backs, man, they could get they can position themselves to where they can keep the wide receiver from being able to get in position to get the catch. And you've seen that a lot with with Quinn Ewers, where you won't see a lot of that with Arch Manning because he put some serious mustard on the ball, especially on the short and intermediate throws, so that he gives his wide receiver time to run after the catch. And a lot of times you didn't see that with Quinn because the defensive back will have enough time to break on the ball and be in position to make the tackle. So hopefully we'll get to see that skill set from Quinn a lot. I mean, from Arch a lot this year. Yeah. All right, bro. Well, that's all I had. We right over an hour, right where we want to be. We'll be back again tomorrow. Mossberg will be doing his Florida State preview tomorrow. I believe it's at 7:45. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mossberg. At Level Up Sports 10, what time are you going to do your Florida State preview tomorrow, which is Monday? And then Parlay Poe is going to come back and do the Michigan preview with some Michigan fans at 11 a.m. That's going to be an early one. So you might not see myself or post game, but I'm quite sure that you'll see FanDuel Zay, Parlay Poe, and some others on that show at 11 a.m. Thursday. But we'll still have our 7:45 show on Thursday as well. And Mossberg just confirmed of Level Up Sports 10 that the Florida State preview tomorrow will be at 7:45 tomorrow, which is Monday, um, August the 4th. So hopefully, you can tune into that. Um, I'm going to try to be in the chat if I can't be on the live stream, but I'm quite sure the rest of the crew will be there, even if I'm not. So just let us know what we can do to help you out, Mossberg, and we'll definitely make that happen. All right. Well, if there's nothing else, please look at the bottom of our screen where you see all of our channels scrolling across the bottom. You got Mossberg of Level Up Sports 10, who you'll see do his preview tomorrow. Please subscribe to his channel at Level Up Sports 10. Then you got FanDuel Zaya at FanDuel Zaya. Also, our man Parlay Poe at Blitzberg podcast. Go ahead and hit him up and subscribe to his channel. And our man you see on the screen with us right now is Post Game at Post Game 86. Please subscribe to his channel. And then, of course, WTP Sports News at WTP for Life. Hit us up, subscribe, help us grow this channel so we can continue to bring you great content. We are really, really excited about what we do, and we just need your help to help us to continue to grow. So hit the like button, subscribe, look out for our short videos that we make, our clips. Please share them with your friends and family. Tell them, hey, go over there and support these really, really cool dudes who are really, really making some really, really good content. We appreciate you all. Thank you so much for your support. And we will catch you on the next one tomorrow, Monday at 7:45 for our Florida State preview. With that being said, peace.